Recording local recordings beta. Hello. Hey, I want to apologize for that. We obviously ran into a copyright strike issue. I don't know. We got to check to see if we were around the 3 minute mark. But this is a brand new show. We're still trying to figure out how to do this all legally. So as we are getting this figured out, you are growing with us. Or if maybe some of you are YouTube editors and you know how to do this sort of thing, how to get around these copyright strikes, please let us know. I do realize it's like a computer algorithm that picks it up, so it's not like a human being is sitting there watching the show going, "Oh my God, this goes against violations." Obviously, we're using this for educational purposes. Yay, we're back. Hi, Michaela. We're so sorry about that. We're using this for educational purposes. That's exactly what we want, John, but we're not ready for it. Although we may be ready for it with as much time as we've killed. So bring your lovely face back in when you're ready. Um, so in that clip we were watching Inside Out, and it's such a good that movie's so good about. I mean, that was one of the first children's movies I can really think of to deal directly with emotions, and to really help people understand. And as somebody who is went to school for human development, I absolutely loved that movie because we spend so much time in preschool and early childhood talking about being able to recognize your feelings, and then when you recognize your feelings, what can we do with these feelings? You know what I mean? If I'm angry, can I go punch a pillow, or or vent my frustration, maybe run around the hallway or something, as opposed to getting angry at another person, right?
Exactly.
And attacking them. So I love In and Out for being able to deal with these emotions. But it kind of interestingly, the problem was that your clip was too long. Yeah. It feels like, I don't know, but it feels like the 3 minute mark is
I
roughly
think you're right.
roughly where we start to go. And remember, I don't know if you remember, I was saying I wanted to keep clips to 2 minutes and under before. That's kind of
Yes. Well,
funny.
now we know why. For that
I
too.
was doing it for pacing. I didn't know there was, like, whole copyright laws and stuff around it. We will get it figured out though. Thank you. And with Michaela's help, maybe we'll get it figured out faster. But um, yeah, in that clip, it showed how depression could actually be used as almost a good thing, right? I had never really thought about it that way.
Yeah. When you see her unplugging the light bulb, you could think of the light bulb itself representing the depression, because as when they pull out the light bulb, they pan to Riley, they go to Riley or cut to her, and you see her like boom, and then as soon as she feels something different than nothing, she immediately steps up and says, "Stop the bus, I want off."
Right.
That's She's still not yet feeling sadness, but she's feeling
Right.
something more than she was before. Depression is now stopped or stopping, and now other feelings are starting to cycle in as they start to reboot. A
Right.
reboot process for a person can take a quick time depending on what it is. For me, it takes, if I have a big break from my bipolar, it takes over a year and a half to 2 years. That
Jeez.
means I go through every mental illness known to man as I
Wow.
reboot, and I can get stuck anywhere along the line permanently.
Wow.
It's scary.
Wow. That's
Hey, welcome back, Alex.
Hi,
Sorry
Alex.
about that.
So sorry about that. Yeah, so in this case, what I found very interesting, and if you know the bigger movie, it's kind of like the battle between joy and depression the whole time, is like joy can't possibly understand what the value of depression, or sadness, her name is
Exactly.
Sadness. She
Exactly.
can't possibly understand what good sadness is to Riley. But here, I think we can see when her happy emotions were then touched with sadness, she was able, then that becomes what it becomes
A mixed emotion. It's
right,
it's
she
both
was
happy and sad.
missing things,
Hmm.
right? So
Yes.
a happy emotion mixed with sadness means you're missing things, like I miss my friends, I miss my old
Yes.
school, I miss my
You're longing for
house.
stuff. Yes.
Right. And then what was even cooler was, I liked at the very end of that, when Joy came to accept
Yes.
sadness, Sadness hands it back to her and interjects some joy back into the sadness.
They have to work together to make it work. Yeah.
Exactly. And when she interjected the joy into sadness, that was her feeling relief from her father giving her
Yes.
a hug. So
Yes.
you
And
can still be
understanding.
sad and happy.
And he said he missed all those things too. And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you missed them." And then that whole allowed sadness to fully function, and then joy, but boom. And now they created this new mixed feeling that, like you described so eloquently.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. That was such a
I
good
love that
movie. And
movie.
yeah, I encourage people, man, shoot, I might have to go back and rewatch that movie. It's been some years.
That was such a really. And did you notice the new island that gets made? It's not like any of the old ones. It's a mixed emotion island now. It's both happiness and sadness. See, this is also Riley's first time in her life to experience sadness. And her brain and stuff only experienced joy and happiness. And now she got depressed because didn't quite know what to do.
Right.
Didn't quite know what to feel
Right.
or think. Her solution
Right.
was to run away.
Right. Michaela says we need all of our emotions,
Yes, we do. Yes,
even
we do.
disgust.
Oh,
Yeah, that was an excellent clip. So because of that whole little lapse, I am totally blown because usually we have like a little time monitor in the corner so I can keep track of like where we are in the show. Like, okay, we're 20 minutes in, we should drop in a clip now. We're 40 minutes. I'm so blown. I have no idea where we are in the show. I know we're somewhere near the in the probably the second act near the end.
yes. I would say that we're definitely could segue into the third part of it.
Michaela says suppressing an emotion like sadness can be so damaging to the mind. You need to
Yes,
let sadness out when it is there.
that's right. Have you ever heard the saying that crying is not a bad thing? And men don't cry, but crying is actually therapeutic. It lets stressful chemicals out, cortisol and stuff like that, flow through you and get out of your system so that it
Oh,
makes room for other feelings and emotions to come in and now replace that with better stuff. But
I
yeah,
was
crying is a very positive, good thing, and sadness helps get you there.
I was unaware of that. That's actually kind of cool. That's interesting
There's
to
a
know.
lot of stuff that our bodies do naturally that are just so helpful to us, like sleep. People think, "Oh, I don't need sleep." Sleep does a lot of things and stuff.
Right.
Um,
Sleep is
it's just
actually
amazing.
I'm actually learning a lot. I know you can't tell it, but because of our good friend Fours Effects, the font creator who does the
Yes.
gaming channels, he has taught me a lot about fasting,
Oh yeah.
and the benefits of fasting. One of the things is tied into sleep because when I was learning about fasting, they were talking about how when you
Limitless talked
sleep,
about that. I watched that whole thing today.
oh, right.
That's what I
It
was
kind of
getting ready to
cleans
tell you.
out your brain, like it
Yeah.
cleans out some of the clutter of your brain. Yeah, I would love to talk about that in this series as well. It was such a good series. But yeah, there's a lot of benefits that go with fasting and sleep. Definitely because I've always been one. I've always had trouble with sleep. Like when I was in high school, I literally would go to bed at probably about 12:30 or 1 o'clock every morning, and then I had to get up at 4:30 every morning for swim practice.
Oh wow.
So I would go to bed at like after doing my homework from like 12:30 to 1, but then have to get up at 4:30 to yeah, because I had to be in the pool by 5:30, and my dad we had to leave the house at 5 a.m. so that I could get to school on time to start swim practice. So I'm a person who like sleep has never been something that's been my friend.
Ah, I'm sorry to hear that.
You'll die without
Thomas,
sleep.
Thomas
Thomas is
Marley is
right.
saying you'll die without sleep. You're correct. You will die. But
And
first, your mind will do horrible things to you.
oh, and some of the things that we're starting to learn now, and again, not to get off the topic of depression, but a lot of it kind of ties in. But without proper sleep, we're starting to understand that this is the beginning of Alzheimer's. That's because not getting enough sleep, your brain doesn't have time to clear out kind of like that garbage that
Yeah.
accumulates in there. And this we're starting to understand is what leads to people getting Alzheimer, particularly at an earlier age. So get sleep, get plenty of sleep. I had been suppressing emotions about something for many, many years and broke when it all burst out this year. It almost destroyed me, but then I let it out and I felt so much better.
I'm so proud of you, Michaela. You have
That's
no idea.
fantastic.
That's huge. And
That is
as you know
very
now,
good.
after
A
going
lot
through
of
that
people can't do
experience,
that.
I'm so
Sorry.
glad you made it through.
Me too. Good job, Michaela. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, and that's what part of this show is for me is kind of like letting out things slowly that I've been dealing with that I'm quite frankly didn't really realize other people dealt with, and actually listening to you and listening to Mezzo and Michaela and some other people, I'm quite fortunate that I don't deal with as many um issues, or you know what I mean.
Hmm.
I'm very fortunate. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a jerk.
No, you're not a jerk. No, 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 no. What you experience is still brutal to you.
Right,
Understand? It's only different. Okay. What we
right,
experience is just different. It's not worse or better. It's just different. We might
right.
experience different things than you do, but they're all equally messed up to each of us. And I like to remind people that, whether you're able bodied, mentally disabled, or ill or not, we all have our mountains, our valleys, our struggles, our hurdles. We're all going to go through that stuff no matter what it is. Maybe you have stage fright. Maybe you
Right.
want to be an artist and you like me, for example. I want to be the leader of a community, but I want to be the shy guy. But that doesn't work. We talked about that was it the last show?
Right. Right.
And
The two
you got
don't
to
go
choose one.
together. Right. Thomas says, what do you think is enough hours of sleep? I'd say 6 to 8. I would say you are correct.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah.
From what I hear, whenever you hear doctors talk about, they're always talking about 8 hours sleep, but it's difficult for me to stay in one
My
place for
pain
eight
doesn't let me
hours.
sleep through the night.
You're what?
My pain doesn't let me sleep through the night. So
Right,
I have
right,
to
right.
just cope with it and deal with it and just get sleep I do. Hey, we
Yeah,
got
and
Frank tuning in.
Frank, what is going on? I know my bladder doesn't let me sleep through the night. But that is important. The longer, the deeper the rest you can get, especially if you are lucky enough to be able to sleep all night, sleep good, solid 8 hours, you are really going to be doing a lot of brain health.
Oh yeah.
Especially as you age, you're going to see a difference with people of your same age that maybe didn't sleep as
Frank
well
is
as you
saying
did.
cat naps help, and that is true. You took a power nap today, my friend,
I
and they
did.
do help 15 to 30 minutes. You don't really want to go much over that mark because then it
It
gets groggy feeling afterwards.
Right, right, right. And it's so hard. It's like having your favorite ice cream, but knowing that you can only have one because if you have 10, then you now are, that becomes an addiction.
Oh yeah, ice cream.
Right, that's what the power nap is like. It feels so good for that 30 minutes. You want more, but you know you cannot have more.
So true.
All right, hey, let's get to that last clip. Do you want me to try to roll it on my side, or do you want to do
You can
it?
try to roll it yours. It should work. I hope.
Okay, I'm gonna try to roll it on mine, but I don't remember how long this clip was.
Let me take a quick look see here, and
Does
it
it?
says
It does
two
show it
minutes
on.
and 38 seconds.
Woohoo! We're gonna try. Oh, wait. Actually, no. Here's the thing. Endgame. Did we made it through all of Endgame, right?
Yeah.
That was 3 minutes and six
So
seconds.
it's not the length. It's got to
Well,
be the algorithm.
it could be the length. It could be say 3:30 because Inside Out is 4:06,
Oh, okay.
and we
Oh,
almost made it to the end of that
I
one.
see. We did almost make it there. Yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna try to roll this Ferris Bueller clip. I think we're gonna make it through. I'll bet $1 we're gonna make it through and
$1.
be able to do a whole dollar. That we're gonna be able to make it
I might
through.
have one of those.
I think we're gonna be able to make it through. But this is kind of a test for us. We are learning this all ourselves. I think from now on we need to keep the clips to like 3 minutes. But let's go ahead and try this. This is one of my favorite clips because it actually shows somebody who has been dealing with depression for a long time and what their kind of moments of where they decide that they are no longer going to deal with it. Do 20 minutes every day. Frank, you're a god.
That's awesome, man.
They decide that they are no longer going to deal with the pain that comes with it. So let's watch this clip. Hopefully you guys recognize it. Here we go.
My old man pushes me around. I never say anything. Well, he's not the problem. I'm the problem. stand. I gotta take a stand against him. I am not gonna sit on my ass as the events that affect me unfold to determine the course of my life. I'm gonna take a stand. I'm gonna defend it. Right or wrong, I'm gonna defend it. I'm so sick of his shit. Can't stand him, and I hate this goddamn car. Who do you love? Who do you love? You love a car. Son of a bitch. Then it done it. Good. My father will come home, you see what I did. I can't hide this. He'll come home, he'll see what I did, he'll have to deal with me. I don't care, I really don't. I'm just tired of being afraid. Hell with him. I can't wait to see the look on the bastard's face.
No, not the car.
Not the car. Woo! I think that was a great representation there.
Yes, it is.
What did you pick up out of that? What did you get out of that scene, John?
Basically, he's tired of being basically under his dad's thumb, unappreciated, taken for granted, and seeing objects in his dad's life have more meaning to his dad than he does. That would depress anybody. I mean, my dad had a severe gambling problem and stuff, and he had this issue with money and doing anything to get it. So I can so relate to that.
Right.
I so could, yes, exactly. Bottling up those emotions and stuff, and then all coming out. How to deal with it and cope with it. There's probably better, more healthier ways of coping with it, but that was one way of doing it.
Right.
Less expensive too.
Right. So depression can show itself in so many forms. And
Yes,
for
it
those
can.
of you that may not have been familiar, that movie was called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's a great movie from the 80s. But Cameron was a character who dealt with a lot of anxiety. You could see the anxiety in all of his scenes and depression, and it was built up from his relationship with his parents.
Frank said something very important here.
Yeah.
Well, at least he expressed himself, and nobody got hurt. Not him or anybody else. Property got hurt. But property you can replace.
Right.
Insurance covers that usually. People are a little harder to replace.
Right.
So yes, very good observation there. That was one of the things I noticed when I was watching. I'm like, look at that. Nobody physically got hurt. Yes, we lost a cool car, but that's repairable.
Right. Well, and then this doesn't really speak to what's going to happen when Dad finds out, right? Because we don't know.
Yeah.
Is Dad a violent person?
Yeah. Dad might end up going to jail.
Well, let's talk about this a little bit. And that's what this third act is kind of getting. And I love. Thank you so much, Frank, bringing that up. This third act really is kind of talking about what can we do about it. We know what depression is now. We know a little bit about how it can come without us expecting it. There doesn't have to be a rhyme or reason for it to happen. But now let's talk a little bit about what some people do to relieve themselves when they're experiencing that. John was just saying in the example where I was saying that when I'm dealing with depression and I don't want to see other people, that's sometimes that's the way to break through it, is to just put yourself in that position around other people, right?
Yes.
If I don't feel like going to your birthday party because I'm sad, but I know you would like to have me there, maybe I need to just push myself a little bit out of that comfort zone and go for your benefit.
Ark, let me give you a recent example with our situation. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone of 14 years of broadcasting just the way I did, stepping out to what I'm doing here.
Right.
The other day, Jody and I, we were bickering. I mean, yelling, and then we worked through that, and then realized you're pushing me for a good reason, and you're not pushing me to the breaking point, but pushing me to do better. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you for pointing that out. And what I was trying to do is balance when I'm going to edit and do this stuff. And I was doing it while we were watching a movie, and she got a little upset. And I'm like, well, rightfully so.
Right.
It's our
Right.
time.
Right. Right.
And I wasn't thinking like an idiot. But I said, well, I can just tell him I don't want to do this. I can just
Right.
say, I'm too scared to do this. I don't think it's going to work for me. And she's like, no. She's like, what you have to do is, instead of broadcasting for 6 or 8 hours a day, take 2 or 3 hours, edit, do your thing, and then go on and do a show. And then you're done with your editing. I'm like, duh, why didn't I think of that, Dork? And like you said, you're too close to the tree to see the freaking forest.
Right. Right.
So, so that's a most recent example I can give you of walling off people. I almost walled you guys off, and I'm like, this is like the best thing that's happened to me in 14 years as far as this goes. And
Right.
that's my honest truth. I mean, it's like,
So, I mean, that sounds like another thing is kind of recognition, right?
yes, that's that. Yep. And support, having people in your life that are there, not to nag you, but that are just there. Like Jody, she was just like, he's pushing you, but not
Right.
breaking you. And I'm like, what? And then as I was yelling, then I started thinking about, like, wait a minute, you said he's pushing me, but not breaking me. What do you mean? And then she explained it, and I'm like, oh.
Right. Right.
It's like the light bulb went off finally.
As difficult as it may be for some of the viewers in the audience to appreciate right now, we do work very hard on trying to bring you a good quality show at Kyber Cave Productions in general, and John and I in particular. John and I with Alex, and especially
Yes.
with our fabulous director Mezzo, have been really trying to brainstorm and think of how to make this work on air, so that we can have a show that's not only fun to watch, but is personally relatable to you and is actually helpful, right?
And
We're trying
encouraging you, like what Frank, Michaela, Joe, and everybody's been doing, and Alex and stuff. You guys are partaking in this conversation. Then that's what this is it's a conversation. Look, they thank you for having me on when you guys need me. Yep.
to.
And I had to ask today, what exactly is a producer? Because I didn't understand that fully. And Ark here explained, he said, well, a producer typically takes care of the behind the scenes legwork. He's like, but you're
Exactly.
also a host too. So you got to do on air stuff. And I said, okay. So, and I could look up the meaning of producer, but it doesn't click with me. And it's like, I have to have somebody physically tell me this.
Right.
It's like, some
And
people can watch a video and learn, others can't.
And sometimes in Hollywood, especially when you get to Hollywood, it can be such an ambiguous term. A producer could also be just somebody that they give credit to for doing something in the movie that they. It can be very ambiguous. A producer could also be one of the main actors who's getting credits. But in our case, the producer means doing behind the scene work to make sure that the show can get on every week. Kyber Cave. So yeah, so we want to make sure.
I love my lightsaber. What can I say? Frank had to do it. He said Kyber Cave, and I'm like, oh yeah, Kyber Cave. Yep.
I don't even have my lightsaber next to me.
It's on the speaker, and it's gorgeous.
But the bigger point of what we're doing is, we're trying to build a community and let people know that you're not the only one dealing with some of these symptoms and issues that you have. And then as much as possible, understanding that everybody's situation is different, but maybe there are techniques or things that we can share together to help you better your situation, if at all possible. So, yeah. Are there any other thoughts? So I think we brought up recognizing, first off, kind of recognizing that there's an issue. Getting outside of your comfort zone uh, is something else that we said for battling depression. Any other thoughts, Sean? We all come
Yeah.
from different places, and yet we're all the same. It's like a village to raise someone, and us being here is great. I completely
Frank,
agree, Frank.
if you were here in person, man, fist bump, definitely, big huge hug, high five. I've been doing all that stuff, man. You're right. When I think back about my life, and I think about all the elders, as I called them back when I was a kid, all of them pouring all this information into me as a kid, and I didn't understand it until I grew through life, and I'm
Right,
like, oh, that's what they meant. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to apply that. Okay, um,
right,
but basically, that's exactly the attitude that we're looking for here. Is we want to build a community that's that village, and where we got each other's back when we're talking about a topic or this. It's not who's better or worse at this, who's got the worst life or better. It's no, it's not a competition here.
right, right.
This is totally 100%. Life is an education. Why do you think we live through it? Okay, we gotta progress through it. We start out crawling, right? We start out as infants, can't even really move. Then we start to sit up, start to crawl, start to walk, start to run, start to do that. That's life learning. Now we do a lot of things that are competitive, like saber battles and stuff. That's fun. But you know what? When it comes down to it, we need a community that's not sitting here. How many people have noticed the Hims commercials and the hers commercials coming up for mental health and basically snake oil for everything? I'm like, really? And then you find these online places, these online communities that say we're a community that help people with algorithms, computer algorithms specifically designed to interface with people with mental health needs. Maybe it works for some. But for me, I'd rather deal with real people.
Right.
And why are these companies doing this? Well, they're here to collect particular information so that they can sell it for a lot of money in order to do what they're doing. They say it's for free. Yeah, just sign up for free. It's like, what are you getting out of this?
Right.
I,
Right.
I directly contacted one of these companies saying, I would love to talk about your company and stuff, but I want to understand, how do you earn money? I mean, you offer all of this for free. You have this expensive algorithm. How are you affording this? You got this website up with this community. And I've gotten no
Right.
reply back. And I'm like, makes me question.
Uh,
What are they in it for?
so a whole side comp.
Sorry.
It's just gonna be a whole sideshow. But there's Are you familiar with that? Like, what is it called? 23andMe, and then there's like, what is that one with like the leaf thing or whatever? But it's supposedly about looking up your family history and your family
Oh,
tree, and then they take like a saliva swabs, and they can even tell you like what continent your family started on and how much Nigerian you are versus German versus Russian. You know what
yeah.
I mean? But they were saying that there was actually, it's marketed as a fun thing to learn about your family and your past, but
But they're
there are
using it for genetic research.
exactly there are bigger
It's called eugenics.
implications happening.
Yep. See, once they learn what makes us tick, what makes us break, then they have it in their control to put something into wherever and say, oh, that was a natural thing that happened. Now, I'm not saying COVID wasn't like that, but I'm just saying eugenics has been going on for a long time under different names and different guises. And they ain't playing anymore now that we've got the technology we've got. It's
Right,
like,
right, right. And
you
they have
know,
much better ways to do it now.
yeah,
And with the way, again, dude,
you're
not
right,
to,
Frank.
this could be whole separate shows, but just the way information, man, we could make one on media. Just the way information works anymore. Like, I remember when I was a kid, you would watch the news, and that was supposed to be the facts, right? News were supposed to be objective. If you had a Democrat on, you were supposed to have a Republican to
Yeah,
show the
and a
opposing
Green
point.
Party and the other parties. Yeah,
Right. It was meant to be not like an opinion, but as much as the truth as possible. I don't even know if that exists anymore, dude.
Frank
Uh
is Frank is saying he's human. I don't know. We better DNA test him.
Michaela says my mom did a 23 me, and we know They're using it for research. So, yep, exactly. I stay away from those kind of things. Not that they don't, not that they want my.
I had a friend named Nestor. Oh my gosh, that's cool.
I have no, you're probably popping up in to say hi, Nest Choir. Oh, hello, Miss.
It's
Um.
Mezzo.
Oh yeah, because she has choir tonight is Wednesday night.
She saved our bacon tonight by getting us on for the second half here.
Dude, you are. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot she was at choir tonight doing that. We love you, but this is why. See, I told you.
We're not
Jason,
worthy, Mezzo. We're not worthy.
I've got the best director in the world. Um.
She's awesome.
What was I just talking about? Man, I'm losing my train of thought, my track. Anyways, this show has kind of gone a little bit off the rails. I think the getting cut and having to do a second one kind of to set us off. Why don't we go ahead and start getting wrapped up on this show? We can let people know what we're going to be talking about next week. First off, I want to thank everybody who has tuned in. Frank, Michaela, John, Alex, Graveyard. Just everybody. Thomas, everybody who's tuned in tonight. We apologize for the little glitch there. And we are happy that you came back for part 2. We will get this corrected as we go forward. Every week is a new opportunity to learn, not just for you, but for us as well.
Definitely.
Learn how to make this show better and better for you. Really quickly, in recap tonight, we were talking about depression, some of the things that cause depression, and some of the ways to get out of depression. Depression is deadly if you don't get help. Yeah.
Very true.
It can be, and this is why it is important when you're dealing with it to try to find some things to break you out. Try to get back to some things that make you happy. If you're an outdoor person, go for a hike. If you're being overworked, tell your boss, bro, dude, I'm working too much. I need a break. Because if your mental health breaks, you're not going to be able to do anything for your family or for your job or anybody else.
That's right.
Any other quick suggestions, John?
The only other thing that's popped into my mind right now is for anybody that, how many of us put up walls to try to push people away when we're not feeling right? Okay, I've done that. Ark mentioned it earlier.
Right.
You could call that cocooning. That's definitely what it is. It's cocooning. You're walling yourself away from everyone. When you do that and you notice you're doing that, sometimes if you feel like you mentioned going to a birthday party or going outside or doing something, maybe you're going to go watch your kids play a game. And maybe you don't feel like talking to people. Don't talk to people then. Just go and be. Just be there. Be present at that point. And if somebody does talk to you about something, engage them about that topic. And then return to being quiet again. That's fine. No one says you have to nonstop talk. And so if you do this sort of thing, way to go. It took me a long time to learn to start doing that. So I got there.
Right. Wonderful. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight just because
none of this is easy to do.
Exactly.
And it all sounds corny.
We lost 2 great humans to depression. That's actually one of the memes that I love. And we're gonna get wrapped up here, but they were showing pictures of like all these famous actors like Robin Williams and Heath Ledger, and they were showing pictures of them smiling and laughing, and they were pictures that were taken just shortly before these people committed suicide. But I don't say it to mean that actors are better than us, and if actors get it, then we do too. I just mean it to show how common it is amongst people. That if these actors and these people that we presume have these fantastic lives, right? They make all this money, they have great families, they can live in nice houses, but they still deal with depression and things as well. Oh, thank you, man. So I wish we talked about it a little better.
I think we did pretty good overall, though. I mean, we got our audience really engaged, which that to me is really important.
Right.
Because I want them to feel that they're a key part of this, because they are.
Right. That's what this is all about.
And Alex, thank you for all your hard work and your stuff that you do behind the scenes for us and stuff, man. You rock.
Woohoo! So we are going to wrap up now, but next week, do you want to tell everybody what our topic is about?
Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
PTSD.
And it's
So if
not
you,
always caused by what you think. So we'll
yeah,
be talking about that.
we're gonna be talking about that some interesting way. And even we'll be talking about secondhand PTSD, which some people
Definitely.
didn't even know existed. It's like cigarette smoke.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, so if you have any experiences, join us next week. JDF used to come. Oh yeah, Indiana Popcorn every year, and everyone was sharing photos of him smiling, but then he was gone. Right? You know who JDF is, right? John,
No, I don't.
the Green Ranger.
Oh, JDF. Okay. I'm used to his whole name. I'm sorry.
Right, Jason,
Jason. Yeah.
David Frank, or
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
remember,
that guy
but
was freaking amazing, man.
right. And I mean, him passing just recently. I mean, that's you know, just because you see somebody smiling all the time doesn't mean that they're smiling on the inside.
That's
Oh man,
right.
dude, I think I think for some reason my messages are popping up later than yours because like you keep referencing things and then I don't know what you're talking about, and then all of a sudden I see, here we go, Jason David Frank is their newest casualty. I'm sorry.
Oh, you know what's happening is I got the live broadcast on my one screen, and I got us over here in StreamYard on the other one. So I'm able to keep up with both. Sorry about that. I'm not trying to mess with you.
Yeah, no, I'm like, dude, all my messages are coming in later, and you're already referencing him, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, how's he doing that? He's reading your mind.
He's psychic. He's seeing
Yes.
5 seconds into the future. Yeah. All right, y'all. Tune in. Make sure to check out John on this side on his show on Ability TV. Tell him how they can find out about you on your other show, John.
I'm changing my whole format. So if you guys don't see me on as much, I apologize. But I'm trying to work through it so it's more formatted like what you're seeing here because I like this. This is working.
Without the little, cut in the middle for a second episode.
Yeah, I can bring on guests and stuff. I'm thinking of maybe even doing that. Maybe interview you guys and stuff, and bring some of you when you have time. Bring you on for a little bit and talk about fun stuff.
Woohoo!
Things like that. But when I'm on, it's under Ability TV, and I'll usually try to broadcast either on YouTube Live or my Facebook or on Twitch if I'm going to broadcast like a movie or something that I want to show that's human interest. Twitch has a nice thing where if you don't record it on their station or on their site, you can show copyrighted content. I double checked with their administrators. They said as long as you don't leave video on demand, you're fine. I'm like, okay,
wow,
I can roll with that. So I've shown Beautiful Mind. I've shown Sam I Am or I Am Sam with Sean Penn. I've shown several movies and stuff over the time and things, and no trouble.
Excellent. Well, we will be learning about that on here. Unfortunately, we're primarily on YouTube. Interesting, like you were talking about doing the, we'll talk about this off air. This has nothing to. All right, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been John. Check him out on his channel. I am Ark, of course, from Kyber Cave. We have tons of shows. We have Kyber Cave Gaming with Mezzo every Wednesday in the morning at 10 a.m. Wednesday afternoon at 5 is Hearts of Kyber, what you're watching right now. Fridays at 8, we have Kyber Cave After Dark. And
That's
then
a cool show.
Sundays,
I love that show.
We've got so many shows popping up. It's hard keeping track of them. Sundays at 7 p.m. we have Saber Rattle. And our newest show is Mondays at, I think, 8, which would make it 5 or so here, because he's on the East Coast.
Yeah,
is our newest game, Retro Gaming Alcove. So that's old school video games.
Yeah, I've been catching up on those videos by watching them after, but those are cool. I like those. What was it? Metroid? Metroid, that's it. I always forget the name of that one, but I'm like, oh my god, I remember this game.
So Kyber Cave has a little bit of everything for you. So just tune in to Kyber Cave Productions on YouTube, and please watch all of our past stuff. But for now, I am Ark, and he is...
I'm John.
He is John, and we will see you next week. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do an out. Let's go out on something. What should we go out?
We're gonna do fancy now. Oh, we're gonna get fancy on you.
Oh, well, we definitely got to do our Patreon credits, but I'm gonna go out on a trailer and then our credits. All right, we love you guys.